How do you become an influencer on LinkedIn? Is that even a thing? TikTok continues its social media dominance. We talk about why that's important. And I'll be introducing my new co-host, paid media guru, Tony Cao, who will be talking about YouTube Shorts. All that and a whole lot more on Inbound Buzz.
Welcome to the Inbound Buzz Podcast, your weekly jolt of all things digital and inbound marketing. Brought to you by redpandas.com.au. Now for your host and co-founder of Red Pandas, Moby Sadiq.
Welcome to the rebirthed Inbound Buzz. I'm Moby Sadiq and I'm joined by my new co-host, Tony Cao. Tony, why don't you tell everyone a little bit about who you are, your background, and what you do?
Okay, thanks for that, Moby. This is my first time in podcasting. But basically, I started in 2013, 14, and I've been in paid ads for a while. You know, I did a lot of stuff for myself, affiliate marketing, e-com, did a lot of that stuff, throughout the years, learnt a lot, and I'm happy to be working with Red Panda right now as the paid specialist. So yeah, it's great times, very interesting. We're having a lot of fun.
Awesome. I would agree with that wholeheartedly, Tony. One thing I always sort of say to people, I'm like, the reason why I hired Tony is because he's an affiliate marketer, which means he spends his own money to sell other people's stuff. So he's got to be good. So let's get straight into it. I want to start with a little bit of news, right? So not a lot of news today, just a little bit. An article just came out, some stats just came out this morning that TikTok was the most downloaded app of Q1 2022. Like not the most downloaded social media app, the most downloaded app. Now, since 2018, no app has had more downloads than TikTok. So this isn't just a 2022 thing, a 2021 thing. Since 2018, it's the undisputed king. No one's dethroned it. And they now have more than 3.5 billion all-time downloads. So I was at a LinkedIn conference yesterday.
How was that?
It was good. I'm actually not allowed to say too much about it because so it was a LinkedIn event. I was with 4 other influencers. I don't know why I was there, but I was there. So, but they were TikTokers, right? They're mainly TikTokers. And again, the campaign's not live yet, but even them, like getting them to understand, especially a lot of these younger guys, that TikTok isn't this pale, stale network anymore. Like it's not this old timers, network. It's actually really, really powerful, right?
It's not just for young people, maybe?
It's not just for young people, but just on the TikTok side, going back to that, because I want to talk about LinkedIn a little bit later, is that I will say that TikTok itself, one thing that people don't realize, how quickly TikTok is aging, right? So on average, I think I'm just reading some stats off my computer here, 36% of TikTok users are actually between age 35 and 54, and actually 53% of TikTok users are over 30. So there's a huge misconception that TikTok is just about shaking your ass or doing comedy. That's definitely not the case. It's definitely aging up. And that's one thing that people don't realize. So if you or your boss doesn't think for anyone listening that TikTok is a good idea, either organically or paid media, just firstly, understand those stats. And secondly, go into Google Analytics. And as you know, Tony, you can go into Google Analytics and see your demographics, right? What's the age of people visiting your site? And if those two things don't line up, then I'll change my name, because you're going to find that if you're trying to reach that audience and you're trying to hit that demographic, then TikTok's the way to go. Fantastic. But your thoughts on TikTok before we move off that, Tony?
Yeah, it's pretty big these days. Everyone's jumping on. Originally, it didn't really take off, but a lot of people on it now, advertising and stuff like that. A lot of lead gen campaigns. The e-com guys are doing it, but not too much success compared to the lead gen guys.
So lead gen is doing better on TikTok.
Yeah, lead generation.
TikTok ads.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of lead gen. You can just watch it. A lot of UGC content we've been observing. So yeah, it's interesting to see where that's going to be in the next 6 months.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that I was at an event where LinkedIn is trying to get on to TikTok, LinkedIn's own TikTok account, I think it's got 130,000 followers. And they've got 1.6 million likes. So even LinkedIn, if you're big on LinkedIn, understand TikTok, and we're going to talk about LinkedIn a little bit more later as well. But the other thing that I say a lot about is that the rise of snackable content, TikTok has had a huge part of that, because even when TikTok was rising and TikTok was, getting popular, the thing that I said at the time, it's changing our consumption on all the other social media networks. So you see YouTube's shorts, you see LinkedIn did its stories for a little while, Reels. So it is literally changing how we consume social media on every other network.
100%. Our attention span's like kind of shortened, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's ruined. It's ruined the old way of social media. Everyone just wants these short, snackable, things. But on that YouTube Shorts, so you had some data and stats on YouTube Shorts
Yes.
and why people should look at
So
it.
as we know, there's TikToks, there's Instagram Reels, and there's Facebook. There's heaps, stories and everything. YouTube came, and they decided to have their own called Shorts, and it's gaining a lot of momentum. It's getting like 30 billion views a day, maybe. So there's something to look at. I think people should start jumping on the bandwagon and start having a look at it because there's a lot of traffic there. We know YouTube has over trillions of views a day. So if you're on TikTok, if you're on Instagram, I think you should be aware of YouTube Shorts.
Has the network effect. You're right. And like one thing that we know, not just with YouTube, with any social media network, when they release a feature, they promote that feature. Like on Instagram Reels right now, on Instagram, if you're just doing normal posting, you're not going to get that much reach. But try a Reel and then see how much you get.
100%.
Because they're trying to push that. So you're absolutely right, Tony. Like they've got the network effect and they're going to push it and promote it. And one thing that I didn't know until you brought to my attention, I thought that because when they first released it, you had to have over 1,000 followers or whatever. But right now, like if you pulled out your YouTube app and you looked at Shorts, you could create a short right now.
They made it easy.
They made it easy. So if you're struggling to grow on YouTube, that is a great kind of angle to grow your major account as well.
100%. That's a good strategy. And like you said, early days of TikTok, it's the early day of YouTube Shorts. So I recommend jumping on it.
Absolutely. All right. So let's move on.
So today, for our final buzz, we're going to be talking about LinkedIn. You're pretty active on LinkedIn, Moby. You were on the shoot yesterday. So I want to know, because, I know Facebook, I know Google, I know a lot of social media. How do you create content on LinkedIn? That's something that I don't know about and I'm curious about.
It's funny because we're talking about this in the pre-production call and I was talking about, LinkedIn influencers and you're like, is there such a thing?
Yeah.
And I didn't realize this until recently, and I'm talking like a couple of months ago. And then I start following these influencers and they've been active for like 6-9 months. So the rise of the LinkedIn influencer is relatively a new phenomenon, but it's definitely there and it has a lot of merit. So let's just first talk about LinkedIn itself, like the importance of it, because I think a lot of people are still sleeping on it. They think it's somewhere you just get a job or it's just for recruiters, and that's definitely not the case. So me personally, I haven't had to apply for a job. Obviously, I run Red Pandas now, but even before that, I haven't had to apply for a job for a long time.
I don't have a LinkedIn profile, as you know.
Yeah. Well, it's just one of those things, right? Like, see, you can have a resume. A resume will tell someone what you do. LinkedIn will show them what you do. It's the modern age resume as well. So not that I'm not here to talk about that, but it definitely is. Like just the fact, just for anyone in their professional career, you need to have LinkedIn. It's really, really important. So not only have I not needed to apply for a job for such a long time because people just found me on LinkedIn, but some of our agency's biggest partnerships, and I'm talking about like work, I'm talking about suppliers, other partnerships that I'll share more about in subsequent episodes. They've all come from LinkedIn. So, don't sleep on that. So it's not just like, someone in my field, anyone who's trying to be a professional. So whether you're trying to be a professional artist, if you're trying to be a professional marketer, copywriter, paid media person, whatever you're trying to be, LinkedIn is the network for that, to be a professional in almost any field. So absolutely.
So give us some tips, Moby. Like, how do we get on LinkedIn? Because even though I know, social media and Google, give us some tips on LinkedIn. Like how are we supposed to approach it and target it?
Yeah, so some really tactical, good questions, some really tactical stuff. I think the first thing is to follow a bunch of influencers, like either in your field, not every field will have them because LinkedIn, and honestly, that's why I'm so excited by LinkedIn and TikTok specifically, those two, and also YouTube Shorts now. Because if you didn't get in on Facebook or Instagram and you're kicking yourself, you didn't get in early, and it is hard to build audiences now, you have opportunities with some of these networks right now, right? So you can definitely do that. So on the LinkedIn side, there may not be influencers in your field, but look for communicators, look for public speakers, motivators, leaders, someone, and then maybe like the obvious ones like the Gary V's and whatnot, right? And follow a bunch of them, and then you will notice styles that you like. I'm not talking about copycatting, but I'm talking about styles that you might want to emulate. And you'll start seeing patterns how they write stuff. So I think that's step one, right? But don't just stay in that. Only 1% of people will post. most people are consuming. You know, so don't be that person. Literally, you know, put stuff out. So the first step would be follow a bunch of influencers in your field. The second thing would be, I honestly believe, you know, numbers are important. So commit to a cadence. So my recommendation would be 3 to 7 posts per week. I say 7 because when I'm really active, I'm a nutcase and I'm doing like 7, right? But I'd sort of say 2 to 3, you know, like if you can sort of start, but have a cadence. Doesn't matter what it is, right? Consistency is important. And then plan out a few posts in advance. Now, what I would recommend is like, you're not creative every single day. You don't have ideas every single day. You'll have these moments where you have a bunch of ideas, make those notes, write those notes down and plan out 2 to 3, even if they're not completely written, just what those topics are. So then when you jump on, you want to do a post, you go to your list. So that's what I do.
Question, Moby, is like, this is how I'm just thinking. Is anyone going to look at it? Like, I know you shared about something, you know, this morning, like, if you post, is anyone going to look at it, or like how effective is it?
See, LinkedIn, what people need to realize, it's not like any other network. It's very, very different. So vanity metrics, let's be honest, vanity metrics are still important, like shares, comments. Those things are still important. We'd be kidding ourselves if we said they weren't. But the thing on LinkedIn, like the amount of times I've bumped into people that I haven't seen for a year, 2 years, and they'll be like, hey, you know what? Like, I love your content. I love consuming your content. Right. I see your content all the time. And I'll be like, and they will mention examples, right? So I know they're not, you know, BSing me. And the funny thing is, Tony, they haven't liked any of my stuff.
Yeah,
they haven't actively liked it. And that's okay. Because when we consume, we're not liking it. We're just sort of, you know, like just consuming stuff. But the thing is, like when they see me, they know what I'm an expert for. They know what I'm a thought leader for. If they need someone who needs what I'm a professional in, they're going to think of me. Or if someone needs me, they're going to think of me. So that's the thing about LinkedIn, the likes and that type of thing on LinkedIn. Some posts I'll put out, I'll get like 2 likes. Some posts I'll get like 95. But I have to put out content and every second, third one will hit.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? I definitely would not. I don't know why LinkedIn had me there yesterday, because I don't classify myself as an influencer. You know, and that's not me doing some humble brag. I really don't, because some of my stuff doesn't hit, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So really good question.
Interesting.
And the final thing I would say is engage with every single comment. So it's so obvious, but be social on social media. Like if I bumped into you in a coffee shop, Tony, I wouldn't be like, oh, hey, you know, can I work for you? Or like just randomly, oh, hey, I like you. Can I work for you? I'd probably be like, hey man, how you going? Did you watch the game? That like, I'd be social with you. I would have some input. So be social on social media. So that's not just connecting with people and then hitting them up on the messages. Either follow them, because, you know, you've got some big heavy hitters, right? They don't connect with everyone, or connect with them and comment on their posts. Like have not just like, oh, that's a great post. Add some value, add some insight, add some perspective.
Yeah, right.
So in summary, like to be a LinkedIn influencer or to be a LinkedIn content creator, follow a bunch of people, you know, 3, 4, 5 people whose styles you want to emulate, plan a cadence. So, you know, 3 to 5, whatever it is per week. Plan out a few posts in advance, particularly when you're feeling creative, and engage with every comment.
Yeah, right. So yeah, that's good about the social thing, right? Because what I've read is a lot of people just go and they message someone, hey, you know, do you have business? And it's not like that, right?
That's not the way to do it.
Yeah.
Be social on social media.
Fair enough. Interesting.
Okay. That's all the time we have for today. Tony, thank you so much for joining me. You know, anyone who's I haven't put out a podcast in about a year. This actually is our 110th episode technically. So it's the first time I've had a co-host. I've always had to talk to myself in a room. So I appreciate that, Tony. But yeah, this is just a start. We're going to maybe get some guests on. I guess we'll be guided by the audience. If you guys have comments, questions, please let us know. The other exciting thing we'll start doing is Tony and I will start tearing shreds through people's websites.
Yeah.
So looking at websites and then giving our honest opinion on what we would do to make them better. So
I think we've been spying all the ads and stuff, maybe. Yeah. Give the public a see what's happening.
We'll do a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. We're going to be brutal.
Yeah.
So definitely stay tuned. Follow us. Leave a comment on iTunes. Subscribe. This is probably going to go out on a bunch of networks. So follow us wherever you sort of see this. And we'll join you again for another episode of Inbound Buzz. See you guys.
Thanks for listening to Inbound Buzz. Learn anything? Return the favor by spreading the word. Want to make your mark in digital? Need help with your digital strategy, inbound, and marketing automation efforts? Then visit redpandas.com.au and be sure to tune in next time for another Inbound Buzz hit.